And welcome back to Square Off. Arizona school voucher supporters claim parents are demanding the freedom to send their children to private and religious schools using taxpayer dollars for tuition. But a new report by the Arizona Republic shows parents aren't the ones demanding vouchers. An organization nobody elected has been running the program hand in hand with state officials. The Arizona Republic's Yvonne Wingett Sanchez produced a deeply researched report on the influence of the Goldwater Institute on the school voucher program, known as Empowerment Scholarship Accounts. She joins us to talk about it this morning. Good to see you again.
Thanks for having me.
So we've known for years Goldwater Institute advanced this legislation here. They're the champion of Empowerment Scholarship Accounts. But your reporting shows it goes much deeper than that. For folks who don't know what Goldwater is all about, tell us who they are, what's their agenda, where's the money come from?
They are a conservative watchdog group, think tank group. They produce research and really do produce model legislation for states across the country. They have become really a leader in the school choice movement. They're funded by a lot of conservative allies. We don't know the extent of their donors. They're a 501c3 and are not required to reveal that information. I think what this story really showed for the first time is how they have been involved from day one in not just providing the research and the basis for this program, but actually trying to reach into the executive branch to determine how it would be implemented.
And I follow this very, very closely, and it was a surprise to me to see that level of involvement, because you don't see that with many lobbyists on legislation. So describe the kinds of things Goldwater was doing inside the Department of Education and even the legislature to move this forward.
So they were communicating frequently with education departments about education department officials about the type of language that they wanted to see in cleanup bills, ESA cleanup bills, and those were essentially bills that they wanted to advance that would expand the program over the years. They wanted to dictate how the money would be spent. They wanted to act as go-betweens when parents had problems. They wanted to have a front row seat at what resolutions to those problems would look like. They wanted as high of enrollment numbers as possible.
And they were really pushing that hard inside. How did you see that? Where did you see that?
Well, there was a lot of back and forth from the American Federation for Children, which is an ally of the Goldwater Institute on this program.
And also tied to the Koch network.
Tied to the Koch network, about the low enrollment rates. Sydney Hay, who was a lobbyist for American Federation for Children, wrote an email. She was very dismayed about the low enrollment numbers. And mind you, this is a program that has been sold to lawmakers and sold to voters as a necessary, needed, wanted program. Well, the enrollment figures weren't backing that up. So there was a lot of back and forth about what they could do to boost those numbers, because they were being judged from national school choice officials
and
on
Arizona
those
was
numbers.
lagging.
We were lagging. They tried to find a way to boost it, and later former school superintendent John Huppenthal recorded that infamous robocall.
John Huppenthal, the state school superintendent in 2013, recorded a robocall urging parents to enroll their kids in this program and get the money.
Yeah.
Which was, did not go over real well. Okay, so we just had Diane Douglas on. She says they don't have much of a role in her department. What has Diane Douglas, what have her folks told you about this? What has Huppenthal told you about the Goldwater role? So
what the emails showed is that there was a pretty intense relationship and professional and cordial relationship under Huppenthal. And it seemed as though they got much of what they wanted under Huppenthal's administration. Under Diane Douglas, the emails started to kind of slow, and then they started to be more supportive of legislation that would actually take oversight of this program away from education officials and into perhaps the hands of others who might be more friendly to their cause.
Interesting. And finally, what does Goldwater say about their involvement with the Department of Education?
They referred calls to Jonathan Butcher, who is their former education department, education program manager, and he said, look, this represents our best effort to do what is best for families who want school choice, and the department was free to take our advice or ignore it.
And what's so interesting is after the school voucher expansion passed last spring in the legislature, Goldwater's then CEO, Darcy Olson, sent an email to supporters bragging there's a cap at 5,000 new kids a year. We will get it lifted. What did that say about Goldwater's own perception of their clout?
That they run this program. Yeah. And I think that that is what, that email was really what led us to start wondering, how are they communicating? And a short time after that email, that's when we filed our records request.
All right, wow, thanks for, that's great the way you bring that full circle. Reminder to viewers, right now a judge is deciding whether school vouchers will go to voters next fall for a statewide vote on whether the expansion should remain intact. Yvonne Wingett Sanchez, great report. You can read it on azcentral.com. Thanks so much for joining us.
Thanks.